Hello, my name is Phyl Herbert, and I'm going to read a very short extract from my essay, The Fruit of a Life. Samuel Beckett put it best when he said that we are born astride of a grave. It's only now in my mid-70s that I fully understand this quote and realise that the short space between birth and the grave is somewhat random, improvised, and for some people out of their control. I became pregnant in 1966. Contraception was illegal, and the concept of abortion hadn't found a space in our vocabulary. I told no one, not even my family. The only person who knew was the father, and he was a married man. The idea of living as a single mother was unheard of then. It just wasn't in the ether, nor was sex outside of marriage. The biggest sin in Ireland then was sex. I gave up my good job in Aer Lingus and pretended to my parents that I had found work in Paris and that I needed to take up the position immediately. I argued that the big bonus was I'd get to learn how to speak French. A German doctor arranged everything for me. A hostel in London's Euston Square for my period in hiding, then returning to a mother and baby home in Dublin for the birth and adoption of my baby. The good nuns at St. Patrick's colluded with my Paris story. My letters to my parents were sent to their Paris mother house in Rue du Bac, and the nuns there would repost them bearing a French envelope and postmark. In 1967, 97% of babies born to unmarried mothers in Ireland were handed up for adoption. It was still the era of the Magdalen laundries and the unquestioned power of the church. It was only at the beginning of the 70s, through the influence of the international feminist movement, the Irish liberation movement, and later the gay rights movement, that a public questioning of sexual mores started, and Irish society was forced to begin to change. 6 weeks after the birth of my daughter, I left the mother and baby home on the Navan Road, where I was treated well by the nuns, and returned to my family. Thankfully, nobody asked me any questions in French. The next few years were spent trying to reinvent myself. I had a secret that I couldn't share with anybody. I thought about my beautiful daughter constantly and looked for traces of her in every child's face I saw. 26 years later, I finally met her. Our first meeting took place in a city centre hotel. Two strangers to each other with only a grain of familiarity connecting us. Her luminous presence had the air of accomplishment and confidence. I inhaled her into my bloodstream, knowing she was someone else's daughter. And then, with open arms, she offered me the biggest gift of my life, an invitation to enter hers. Thank you.